Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now with each passing year the demand, support and capability of older lower end graphics cards dwindles. If you like to play older games or want something that's ideal as a basic display adapter, then you won't need to spend much money at all. Or maybe like me, you just enjoy messing around with GPUs that no one wants anymore. This aging AMD card is the R5 230. It's got a gig of DDR3 VRAM and it's one of the many cards that will sell for next to nothing if listed at auction on eBay or amongst the box of nondescript computer parts at the local car boot sale, maybe on Facebook Marketplace like mine. It was a tough call. 50p, roughly 60 cents, the change in my pocket for a graphics card, or a cheap bag of sweets at the local corner shop. Unfortunately, I'm on a diet, so here we are. Let's see if we can hit 60 FPS with 60 cents worth of obsolete GPU. Despite the lack of fans, this $50 card from 2014 overclocks like a champ. Simply drag the clock and memory sliders up to maximum in MSI Afterburner and away we go. I've paired this with a Ryzen 5 7400F and 32 gigs of RAM. Totally overkill, but there's no doubt we're getting the most out of this absolute whopper. Looking to slay some dragons or villagers in Skyrim? Well, this beauty can do so at a solid-ish 30 FPS. Magnificent. Sometimes the on-screen effects get a bit much for this little beast to handle though, and that's where 800 by 600 resolution comes in. I haven't got any on-screen averages and percentile lows today because I've had a very busy week and truth be told, I just couldn't be bothered, but the Afterburner and RivaTuner overlay should give you a good idea of what to expect. I will include some newer titles momentarily, but first we'll continue with the classics. Left 4 Dead 2 will hit at least 60 FPS most of the time at the lowest settings, which I've stuck to throughout for the sake of this decade-old card, but it still looks pretty decent, or at least good enough to play through. GTA San Andreas is also best kept at 720p low because although it will exceed 60 frames per second most of the time, there are some significant dips and drops. In fact, running this at a higher resolution with higher settings will turn it into a juddery mess. It runs like a one-legged horse. That would have been the perfect segue to Red Dead Redemption, but that won't actually play, neither will Red Dead 2, so instead we have GTA 5, another Rockstar title. I opted for DX10 mode just to guarantee better performance, and as you can see, never mind, this is the Legacy edition, or the original game by the way. Okay, so as you can see, all we needed to do was cut the resolution scaling in half and decimate the visuals to a point where we can count each individual pixel and voila, a 30 FPS gameplay experience. Or should I say 30 PPS, pixels per second. I couldn't actually lower the native resolution because the game kept crashing, but with its predecessor, GTA 4, we had no such issue. 800 by 600 here for around 40 frames per second. Unlike the chairs outside this cafe, the card is not indestructible, so I was expecting it to just give up at any minute. Wait, surely these are breakable? Oh, okay, that's better. Oops. But what about newer games? Can the R5 230... Is that... I forgot what it's called for a second. Yeah, can the R5 230 handle newer popular releases like CS2 and Fortnite? Not just like CS2 and Fortnite, but actually CS2 and Fortnite. Yes, it can. I promise I said that with a straight face. Look, I don't want to sit here and make fun of this determined little chap. It's giving the games all it's got. Counter-Strike 2 has a 640 by 480 option, which is always welcome, as it's fun to see how games look at this very low resolution, even with hardware that's more capable than this. I just find it fascinating when developers keep this resolution option in. Now, those of you who have been here a while will know that I'm not exactly the best CS2 player. In fact, I'd probably get more kills if my hands were tied behind my back and I just sat and mashed the keyboard with my forehead. Breaking through the 30 FPS barrier is almost unheard of with this GPU, so you've got more chance of stepping in unicorn poo than hitting 60 FPS with this GPU in this game. To finalise then, we'll move on to Fortnite. I think... Look at that frame rate, lads. No point in looking at anything else. There's about 6 pixels on screen. I think the game is perhaps being a little overcautious with the resolution scale slider. Why does it even go to 0%? I think we'd still be able to get 60 FPS with a slight bump in the render scale. Let's try 20. Oh, there's someone. Is it? If only they knew who just wiped them out. An idiot with a potato GPU, the eyesight of an armadillo, and 16 countable on-screen pixels. Now we can turn this up a bit, but we won't retain our close to 60 FPS performance. Even a bump up to 30% scale caused some hefty frame drops to the mid-30s. So to quote the road signs around my village, 20 is plenty. But that's all she wrote. The R5 230, I think back in 2014 when it came out, about $50 in the US. I mean, if you bought one back then, it's nice to see that you can still play some games, even Fortnite if you're willing to burn your eyeballs through eye strain. But there we are. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this one, be sure to leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. And of course, hopefully I hope to see you all. Is that too many hopes? Hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.